We are live, brothers and sisters. We are live for our weekly Qur'an study session. Salam, everyone. We are live, everyone. Salam, Sister Faria Salim. How are you today? I hope you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. This will be a short study session, as we do on Fridays. As usual, I've done very limited preparation, so this will be an impromptu study of the Quran. Thank you, Jazakallah, Sister Faria, for letting me know. We're going to start in just a minute. I'm just making sure that we are live on the various platforms. So we're live on YouTube. Thank you for confirming. We're live on TikTok. And we should be live on Facebook. Let me quickly check. Salam, Sister Fatima. I'm just checking that we're live on Facebook. And let me just quickly check. This will be a short session on a particular verse, which I was looking at earlier. Okay, Sister Faria, yes. The study sessions on Darood are, as you can imagine, interesting and controversial. But unfortunately, when we're studying the Quran and we see the truth, we cannot help sometimes for the findings and the research to be controversial, because the deen has been corrupted so significantly that it cannot be helped. And Allah says in the Quran that we must stick to the truth and the full truth, not the partial truth, but the full truth. And so, even when presenting it in the most modest and gentlest way, these topics can be very controversial. The Darood has been something which we have been reciting for many, many generations, and we take it for granted as correct and true, and we take it as required, we take it as effective. But when you study the Quran, you see something else. Anyway, what I was keen to look at today was, in fact, something which Sister Faria, you commented on recently on one of my YouTube podcasts, which was about balance. And I was keen to have a look at the couple of verses which I touched on in that podcast. So apologies for all of those who have recently seen that or heard that podcast. There may be a bit of repetition, but because I'm live, this will provide an opportunity for some live interaction as well through the comments. So I can see people have started to join on TikTok as well. Salam, everyone. And before I get started, a very quick suggestion, which I always make before I start, is that the education of the Qur'an is very limited around the world. There are a lot of people studying the Qur'an, but the communication of the results of their education is very limited. And this Qur'an study channel is a project which is being run by my father and myself. And Assalam, Brother Abdul Abbas. It's a project, and the aim of which is to make our best efforts to communicate our journey and learning from the Quran. And so my request to you is that if you feel that the education on the channel is valuable, then please do a couple of things. Like the videos, just click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. The reason is that the various social media platforms on which we are on, they run algorithms which pick up on how well viewers are interacting with particular videos. And then it spreads the message. It shares the videos with more people. And so your simple click on the like button and subscription to the channel will help to share the message. So it has a more significant effect than you might imagine. So I would ask that if you find that the education is valuable and is worth sharing with others, then please do that. And of course, if you're, what would be even more valuable is if you will share particular videos, links to videos with others. I know that is difficult, particularly if we are living within a community or within a family where the messages from the Quran as we are sharing with others may not be welcome. So I fully understand and appreciate that that challenge. So yeah, Sister Freya, yeah, perhaps we can do another. Maybe next week I might do a live study session on Darood, because I understand obviously a lot of the Darood videos on our channel are in Urdu, and a lot of our viewers are not able to understand Urdu, and so there may be value in me summarizing the subject of Darood per the Quran in a short 1 hour session like we're doing right now. So let me have a think about that, and perhaps we can have a session next week and we can have a proper conversation. And indeed, if some of you would like to share the stage with me and come on the channel to have a conversation, then feel free to do that. You don't need to have your camera on. You might just want to have your audio on. Then we can have a live conversation as well for the benefit of others. Salam Moutinho86 on TikTok and Uniform Mike. Walaikum assalam. Thanks very much. And thanks for sharing the video. So, yes, Sister Fatima, perhaps it's perhaps I will do that then. I think it's actually very important to understand the what the Durood means and what we're actually saying when we're reciting it. and what the Qur'an says about it. Very controversial, but the truth must be spoken. Okay, so this is what I wanted to go today. Salam, crazy girl on TikTok. Peace, Mulberry on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Right. So I wanted to have a look at this verse. Let me share this. Okay. Let me have a better view of this. That's better. I'm on the right side now. Okay. Let me go to a particular verse that I was interested to look at. I've got tanzil.net open here. So the issue with going live is sometimes you get this wrong. Hold on. Hang on. I'm trying to go to verse. Here we are. Okay. So here we have chapter 87, verses 1 and 2. Brother Ahmed on YouTube, peace. Yes, you are in time. So verses 1 and 2, and in particular, I was looking at verse 2. So verse 2. So verse 1, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sabbih isma rabbikal a'la. Praise the name of your Lord, the Most High. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. The one who creates, and fasawwa. Fasawwa. Now the translation here in this particular from Idani is regulates. Fasawwa. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. So we're talking about the Rabb who creates and fasawwa. Now, fasawwa, if you look at the various translations, so Idani translates it as regulates, other translators will translate it as proportions, others will say create with balance. The root word or the root letters of this word fasawwa is sin, waw, ya. And if you look at the sin, waw, ya in a lexicon, so hopefully you can see this. I might just make this a little bit bigger for you. Hang on. Let's see if that worked. Did that get bigger? That's a little bit bigger now. Here we go. Okay. So sawwa, to level, to complete, to arrange, to make uniform, to make even. Yeah? To make consistent in parts, to perfect a thing, to put a thing into a right or good state. Bear this one in mind. To put a thing into a right or good state. Okay? Further down, on terms of equality. Terms of equality. So, putting a thing right in a good state, putting things in equality, making something uniform, making something consistent, in proportion, perfect, level, equal, equal, equal. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now, how many times have we recited or heard this surah and just moved past it without pondering? Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. 3 words, and we move on. But I think we should really try and understand this. You see, here we are being given an attribute of the Rabb, that the Rabb has created things in fasawwa. And remember, things that are perfected, equally proportioned, level. Okay? Now, think about the magnitude of Allah's creation. Salam Sod on TikTok. Salam everyone who's just joined on TikTok. So think about the extent, the magnitude, the breadth of the creations of God. This verse is telling us, Allah is telling us, that everything has been created with perfection, with equality, with proportion. What else did we see? With perfect levels, equal. You see? This is what this verse is telling us. And you might say, well, why is that important? Why is that important? It's not, I mean, if we move past this very quickly, like we normally do when we're reciting this surah, you want to understand this. But when you ponder over this, it's a lot more fun. Because let's have a think about this universe. Let's think about the spatial entities which surround the earth, the universe. It's hard to describe the size of it. I think humans are still trying to work out the size of it. We know it's growing. Everything is working with perfection. Everything is fully and perfectly leveled. Everything is fully leveled. Everything is in perfect harmony and perfect balance. Even if you just look at the way the earth is moving around the sun, it's moving with such balance and perfection that you can set your clock to it, to the second. And that's just the earth. When you think about the spatial entities, imagine the entire universe operating with perfect balance, every single spatial entity working in perfect harmony with each other, perfectly balanced. Now, if that just by itself is not evidence enough of the existence of a creator, of a designer, of a Rabb, then what is? الذي خلق فسوى. And that's, if you look at it at the broad level, think about the universe. Let's come a bit closer. Think about on Earth. Think about nature. Think about how the sciences of biology, geology, chemistry, physics, they all combine perfectly to create this perfect system in which all of God's creations exist on this earth. Think about the connections between all the creations on this earth, the connections working perfectly together. An example of this is how we as humans are reliant on this perfect, harmonious level, this perfect system to survive. We need this perfect ecosystem of the atmosphere, the vegetation on this earth, the animal kingdom, the oceans. We rely on all of these to be working perfectly to survive, to breathe, to be in health, to function. Even the ocean plays a significant part in maintaining the perfect level, the perfect balance of our atmosphere. For example, by absorbing huge amounts of carbon from the atmosphere. We, of course, commonly understand how trees play a part in absorbing carbon, but so do the oceans. Everything is perfectly connected for everything on earth, all of the creations, to survive and flourish on earth. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. Let's come even closer. Let's think about our bodies. Our bodies, perfectly balanced. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 feet. We are perfectly proportioned and balanced in order to function. Let's look even closer. Let's look within our bodies, the system within our bodies. Think about the cells within our bodies. The cells themselves are an ecosystem of perfectly balanced energies which inform our functioning. Subhanallah. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. 3 words. 3 words. And we're pondering. Subhanallah. So then the question is, what does that tell us? Does that tell us anything about what we need to do? Does that tell us about what we should not be doing? If something is in perfect balance and it becomes off balance, then that thing cannot function. It cannot function if something is off balance. Now, on this earth, we are seeing imbalances. Think about the environment. The environment is becoming out of balance, and it is affecting all of God's creations on this earth, including humans. And the environment, which is becoming out of balance, isn't being caused by God. Because God says here, Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. He created it in perfect balance. The environment is out of balance, out of its perfect proportions, because of us, because of humans. Because of humans. We have created imbalances in the environment. For example, I mentioned the ocean and the important part it plays in keeping the atmosphere in balance for us. The way we are destroying life within the ocean affects the effectiveness with which the ocean can play its role within its perfectly balanced ecosystem. If we destroy the ecosystem in the ocean, humans will perish. Just like we already know that as we destroy the rainforests, we are affecting the ability of the atmosphere's own system of keeping balance, which we rely upon. Just like the destruction of the trees is causing imbalance, so is the destruction of life in the oceans and other ecosystems, other animal kingdoms. We, humans, are causing imbalance. That's why it's important to understand this. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. Think about the communities of humans. If it was created in perfect balance, we have created imbalance. We have created inequality in the ability of people to access the resources, the blessings that God has provided all mankind. We have created inequality. We have created systems which make the resourceful ever more resourceful, and we make those who are scarce in resource ever scarcer. We humans have created that system. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. But humans are destroying this. And I want you to have a look at chapter 2, verses 11 and 12. I'm going to bring it up. Chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. Just give me 1 second. 2, 11 and 12. Here. Okay. And when it is said to them, do not make trouble on earth, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, they say, قَالُوا, Innama nahnu muslihun. We are only reformers. So this is what, and the word here is tufsidu, fasad. Tufsidu, fasad. Fasad is disorder. This means disorder. It says trouble on earth in this translation. Consider it as disorder. We have just studied how Allah has created everything in perfect order. And here Allah has said, when it is said to people, do not cause fasad on earth, they say, we are only reformers. They say, they have the mindset, they think that what they're doing is for the betterment of people. Allah innahum humul mufsidun walakin la yash'urun. In fact, they are al-mufsidun. They are people who create disorder. They create fasad. They're troublemakers. Walakin la yash'urun. But they're not aware. People are not even aware that they're causing disorder. Whew. You see, what happens, the reality is that people, what's happened is people, they do not understand the importance of perfect order. And Allah, as Allah tells us in the Qur'an, people give in to their egos. They give in to the temptations of Iblis. And then they hoard resources which are meant to be shared with others. They create disharmony amongst people. They're willing to cause imbalances in our perfect ecosystems in order to benefit themselves. And they think they're doing this for everyone's benefit. But they know it not, that they've got it wrong. And the proof of this, the proof of what Allah has said here, is all around us in the society in which we are living. It's all around us. This is what Allah is telling us here. Whereas Allah created everything with perfect order. فَسَوَّى. Now this then provides a link into what we have to do. And it's a link to many of the ordinances in the Qur'an. The Qur'an, or a substantial part of the Qur'an, is devoted to the performing of good deeds. Think about them, where Allah talks about matters such as ihsan. Ihsan with parents. Doing ihsan with parents. What is that? Doing ihsan with parents ultimately is about helping them retain some balance in their living. When our parents get old and they're unable to see properly, hear properly, walk properly, that causes them imbalance in their ability to play their part in society. And so ihsan with parents is about us helping them address that. It's about us using our facilities to help them with the balance so they can continue living in this society. We have to become our parents' eyes and ears, and our physical abilities have to be used to become their legs and their arms and hands, because they're losing that power. So ihsan ultimately is about bringing back order, balance to others, such as our parents. Amalan swalihan, amal swaleh, righteous deeds. What are they? If you look at the Qur'an and the examples of activities, of actions which qualify under the term amal swaleh, you will see they're all about bringing back order, supporting order, giving balance. All of them. If you look through the Quran and wherever Allah talks about amal salih, underlying those actions, those examples of actions, is balance. So perhaps what this does, is give us an insight into what the purpose is of our life. The purpose of our life. You see, when we are acting in a way that causes imbalance in any shape or form, we looked at how that is fasad. We are effectively eating from the forbidden tree. Allah created everything in balance. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. Everything is perfected. When we eat from the forbidden tree, we are giving into our desires that cause imbalance. And perhaps then the purpose of our life is to bring back that balance. Is to struggle to bring that back balance and maintain balance within ourselves, our communities, and this earth. That takes you to the word ibadah. I said in the Quran, if you look at all of the examples of actions which Allah classifies as amal salih, underlying it, you will see this theme of bringing balance. The same is with ibadah. Serving God, doing ibadah to God, is about serving His system of perfection. And that is done by serving His creations in order to restore all the creations, all the systems into the perfect balance with which they were created by God. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. So one of the things that this implores us to do is to consider our actions on a daily basis. Are we doing anything? Are we performing actions which affect negatively the perfect order the perfect system that God created, be it around us, be it within the communities of people, or within us. When I say within us, that's important. Our bodies were created with perfect balance. Are we feeding our body poisonous nutrition to cause imbalances and disease? So you see, disease is not only created in society. If we are spreading corrupt behaviors in society, that of course is fasad. But what about within us? Allah created our system in perfect balance. But what if we are damaging that perfect system? For example, by feeding it matters, items, food which is poisonous, chemicals. Our societies are fixated on fast food. Isn't that fasad? Within our bodies, isn't that fasad? Shouldn't we be restoring the order in our bodies by changing what we consume? It's difficult because it's easier and cheaper to consume poisonous things, poisonous food. But this is part of the test. Perhaps this is part of the test for us. So, this is what I wanted to share today. These 3 words are so much deeper and deserve so much more attention than we normally give these 3 words when we are simply reciting the Qur'an. How many times do we recite this surah very quickly when praying, for example? Sabbih ismi rabbikal a'la alladhi khalaqa fasawwa. Our sister Faria saying that it is fasad. See, the word fasad, we have to apply it just like any concept that we pick up from the Quran. We have to apply it at different levels, on different layers of creation. I always try and think about it. This is something about the study of the Quran. I always try and apply learnings at different layers, at different levels, applying it to the universe, the earth, nature, communities, our family, and ourselves. And similarly, fasad, this word, fasad, disorder, apply it at all of those different levels to understand its true meaning and to take the lessons from it. I hope that makes sense, because the Quran is applied on all layers of existence, even to the spiritual layer. And so often when we are studying the Quran, we will look at it through a very one-dimensional lens, as I do often. And I find that one must remind ourselves to not just apply that one angle, that one lens. We have to remind ourselves to apply the learnings to different layers of existence, because only then do you see the true magic, the depth of quality and unmatched joy in studying the Qur'an. You see, then it unlocks parts of your mind. It unlocks knowledge. It unlocks the unseen. That's how the Qur'an helps you to unlock elements of wisdom you never thought you could gain. Because Allah is the teacher. Allah is our teacher. Just as He says in chapter 55, verses 1 and 2. Allah is the teacher. And He's teaching us. He's teaching us through these 3 words so much. Look at what we've just studied today in the last 55 minutes. Well, 46 minutes I've been live, in fact. We've spent 46 minutes on 3 words. So when we hear people say, oh, I finished the Quran 3 times this month. How did they finish the Quran? We've spent 46 minutes on 3 words. How can you finish the Quran? People celebrate completing the Quran. People celebrate it. I remember when I was much younger and through very traditional methods, I recited the Quran over the course of a year. I learned how to recite the Quran. We had a party at the end of it for the completion of the Quran. We can't complete the Quran. 3 words. Alhamdulillah. I do hope that's been useful and it might have given you an additional reflection on the meaning of these 3 words, on the linkage between fasawwa and fasad, and other terms used in the Quran such as amal saleh, ihsan, ibadah. All of these terms are linked one way or the other. Peace be upon you, TCM Yuki. Thank you. Yeah, Sister Yuki is saying, brother, you look so happy when talking about the Quran. I think it's because it lights the way. For me, it's the knowledge, the way it helps me discover myself, and the truth is unmatched. No teacher could show me this except for Allah. And Sister Faria is saying, kindly share any of your email address. I want to share what I've written on this topic. So on the YouTube channel, if you click on, where do you click? Because my email address is on the YouTube channel. Let's try and find where we can do this. Just give me 1 second. Okay, if we go on to, if we find my channel, and then where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? It's not on community. Just 1 second. I'll tell you in a second where it is. Let me stop sharing this screen first of all. There we go. And yeah, Yuki, thank you, and the Noor, thanks. See, smiling is good. We should all be smiling. Allah has blessed us. We cannot count the blessings of God. There are so many. And so if we appreciate it, we will smile about it. Right, so there is a way to contact me via YouTube. Why don't I send you a separate message, sister? I'll send you a separate message about how to contact me. And there are several ways. There's an email address on YouTube. You can contact me in the messages through TikTok, also on Instagram. You can send me a message there. You can also send me a message via the website. So the website is www.quranstudy.co.uk. So you can send a message through the website as well. So there are various methods by which you can send me messages. And yeah, I'd very much appreciate you sharing your knowledge so I can learn from it as well. I think most of you know when I get comments. Here's a question. Are you open to creating a Telegram group? So I do have a Telegram group. There is a Telegram group already, which I've created, which is Qur'an Study. So yeah, it's called Qur'an Study. Oh, so the link, so it's actually Qur'an_study1. Qur'an_study1. That's how you can find me. You can find our group channel on Telegram. So yeah, Sister Freya, I will contact you separately, inshallah, and I will send you the email address. I'm not sure why it's not showing on the YouTube channel. I can't find it either, but I know there is one because I've put it there. I do get emails. So there is an email address. But you'll have to excuse my lack of technology skills. People my age, unfortunately, are not as quick on the technology as many of you will be, I'm sure. Salam, Iron Man. Peace and blessings to you. So if anyone has any other comments or questions, I have 5 minutes. So any comments you would like to share, then please do so. Or any questions you might have before I end today's session. Sister Fatima, I'm always so blessed to have your support. So blessed. Yuki, is that question for me? So, nothing for breakfast. I don't have breakfast. I normally just have fresh lemon with warm water in the morning. And then after my, so sometime in the afternoon, I went for my gym workout. And then after that, I had eggs with romaine lettuce on sourdough bread with extra virgin olive oil, which was amazing, and some nuts, organic nuts. And then later, I had a protein shake. So almond milk, organic protein powder, with cacao powder, peanut butter, and what else? A few dates, a couple of bananas, some blueberries, strawberries. Yeah, it was quite a packed, healthy smoothie. It's quite lovely, alhamdulillah. Yeah, other Sirasi would not approve. Yeah, so I'm an intermittent faster. I find it's done wonders for my health since I started doing it. But normally in the evenings, I'll have proper, what we call desi food. So almost always curry. So that undoes all the good work during the day. But alhamdulillah, it's balance. The topic of today was balance and order. So it's fairly balanced. Iron Man. Yes, desi food is it's very difficult to live without for me. So the only connection to this question was balance. Today's topic was balance. Oh, Mudadi, salam. Sister Fatima also does intermittent fasting. And Sister Fariha, thank you for posting the questions on the divorce series, the videos on divorce. Inshallah, I'll come back to you on those. Or my father will come back to you. One of us will come back to you. Wa alaikum assalam. Okay, if there's no other questions, then I'm going to tend to my desi food. And I think we have roti today. So I'm looking forward to that. And it only remains to be said. Yes, Yuki. In spirit, I will. It only remains to be said. Thank you. Thank you for joining, for supporting, for liking the video, for sharing it and encouraging others to attend as well. And like I said at the outset, it helps more than you might think to click on like, to subscribe to the channel. And if you find that this is of value, then to share it with others as well. Because sharing this education is part of the deeds which bring balance, which bring back balance as a response to the disorder that has been created on earth through miseducation, falsehoods, the creation of divisions through religion, the creation of divisions through priesthood, through fatwas. The disorder that has been created has to be corrected. And so sharing this education is part of those deeds. الذي خلق فسوى. الذي خلق فسوى. He created everything in perfect order. Humans have created disorder. The purpose of this channel is to do its very little bit to try and undo that disorder and create order through sharing the truth, creating unity, sharing the message about the truth, about creating bonds with your people, sharing love, developing an environment of peace rather than hatred, rather than discrimination. That's the purpose of this channel. So I thank you for your efforts to help with that. And before I go, just so it's not lost, so there's a question here by Sister Faria about how to obtain further studies about Islam and the Arabic language, and Iron Man responded, Xavier Institute for Higher Learning, which of course is a joke. But more seriously, one of the projects that we have to establish is a more formal system of education about the Qur'an. Because I, for one, don't find one out there. If there is one, then do let us know. Let me know. I, for one, do not know of any institute which provides the sort of education about the Qur'an that teaches people how to study the Qur'an by themselves. I do not know of one. And so if anybody knows, then share it, please. So with that, I'm going to call it a day. And inshallah, two things. Firstly, as usual on Sunday morning, UK time, 11 a.m., we will have a live study session in Urdu, which will be hosted by my father, as usual. And then inshallah, next Friday, at the same time as today, I'll be live and I'll pick a topic just before I go live without much preparation, and we will study it. We will study that topic through the Quran. And Rana Najam, why don't you start some online education for younger generation? I would love to. I would love to do that. But unfortunately, it's very difficult to do that alone. With all the commitments that I have, not just in terms of maintaining this channel, but in terms of the commitments I have to look after many dependents in my family. And so it's very difficult for me to do it alone. Yeah, Sister Hannah on TikTok is saying, what time is it on Fridays usually? So I will normally do this session. I'll start it sometime between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. Sometime between 5:30 and 6 UK time. That's what I would normally do. And I would love to create an online education system, but that requires a team. Perhaps at some point in future, I will instigate this project, but it's very difficult to do alone. One of the first steps I'm looking to take is to create a syllabus for children under the age of 10. And the reason I'm doing that is because I myself have a child under the age of 10. And so I have a very direct and immediate need for a syllabus, which I will then deliver myself. I will deliver it myself. So I will, inshallah, be producing a syllabus for young children, but to create an online education system, it's something which I can't do by myself. Brother Uniform Mike on TikTok, I'm here to help with the online side of things. I can do learning management platforms. Okay. Yeah, brother, that could be very useful. So I will think about things. And maybe one of the results of this community that you all have formed through this channel, one of the outputs might be that we create a project for this. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sister Khadija. Yeah, inshallah. I mean, like I said, I have my own interest and objective to create a syllabus for under 10s anyway, which I'll be doing, inshallah, over the course of the next few months. I'm slightly behind on my plan for that. One of my plans for this year was to begin delivering it by March. It's now end of May, and I've not yet created the syllabus even. Although I've been providing some education on an ad hoc basis in the meantime, but I would like to do something a bit more systematic. But yeah, Uniform Mike, honestly, that would be something for us to talk about. That'd be great. I feel like it needs a team of a few people so that we can do this, we can deliver this. And it would be for the benefit for us and the next generation who can take this far beyond what we can. I'm really excited about that. So thank you for asking that question, and Brother Mike, Uniform Mike, thanks for helping with this as well. I really appreciate it. Okay, well, I think the desi curry awaits me. I must ask for your leave, and inshallah, I will see you again soon. And in the meantime, I'll be posting other videos as I do. And thank you again, and peace be upon all of you. Please seek out opportunities to help people in your family, in your neighborhood, in your communities. Seek out the opportunities to do good. And be good and keep away from Iblis. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Peace be upon you.